Hi everybody! It's Sunday night. Yay! Welcome to Fiber at 5. I'm Christiana with the Longmont Yarn Shop. And I'm really excited tonight because we are talking about celebrating Earth Day a little early. I know Earth Day is the 22nd, right, Bryce?
Yes.
Oh my goodness, where is this year going? Where's April going? It seems like just yesterday.
Yeah.
Just yesterday was April 1st and now it's almost Earth Day. So tonight, all of the products we're talking about are eco-friendly or involve recycling, and I hope that we will teach you some neat tips and tricks that you can apply to your everyday life to try and reduce our carbon footprint. So, first thing I wanted to talk about is a couple things that I've learned being an avid crafter to kind of help reduce how much waste I have. So for those of you out there who are also quilters or sewers, hey Gloria, hey Mom. A good way to use up fabric scraps, and anyone who knows me knows I never throw anything away if there's even a remote possibility I might be able to use it again. So I'd never throw away any fabric scraps, and here's why. You can actually make it into yarn. So what I've done here is I've got some fabric scraps left over from quilts, from clothing projects, and what I've done is I've just tied the strips together, which I know is counterintuitive to what we say about our knitting and crocheting projects. We don't want to tie knots. Hey Nancy. But in this case, knots are okay because this is the only way to keep the strips of fabric together. You could sew them, but I would be afraid that if you worked it into a project, that seam might rip apart. So knots are the way to go in this case. This is excellent for rug making. You can knit or crochet around a weaving rope, or you can make bags out of this for, going to the store, your market bags. I just have one thing to say. You have to be kind of patient when you're doing this because it takes a lot of fabric to knit or crochet with. So what I do is I just collect my scraps from a project that I've made and just add it to my ball. Which somehow I have a bigger ball of fabric at home and somehow I lost it, so I'm going to have to go searching for it. But that's a good way to use up your fabric scraps so you're not throwing them away. And then two, and I read about this in a book, and I apologize, I don't remember which book it was I read it in, where you can use your plastic shopping bags. And I know a lot of stores are now offering recycling programs. I know Target here in Longmont does. But I know there are some of us who are stuck at home and can't return our bags to the store, because of COVID. So here is an alternate way to use these bags. You can actually turn this into yarn too. So the handles are not usable. Unfortunately, you do have to cut those off. But that takes up a lot less room than an entire bag, so you can hold that until you can get to the store to recycle it. Or in some cases, ask a neighbor or a friend if they can bring it back to the store for you for recycling. So I have to cut the handles off, and I'm not going to hold this up because I'm afraid I might cut myself. So there are the handles. So see, that's a lot less. Unfortunately, if you do have to throw it away, it's a lot less waste than throwing away an entire bag. So how you turn this into yarn is you just start anywhere around the top, snip down, and then you can make it as wide as you want, and then you snip around the bag in a spiral. So, and this does take a while too. But it's amazing because you can get these thin plastic bags from the grocery store or whatever, but if you do this and you turn it into a project, it's amazing how strong that plastic becomes. So I'm just snipping just all the way around until you get to the bottom of the bag. And unfortunately, the bottom seam is also unusable too. But again, that's taking up less room in a landfill if you do unfortunately have to throw it away. Or it's less room taking up in your recycle area so that you can return the bags to the store. I know Target will take them back. I think most grocery stores will take them back now too. Unfortunately, most plastic bags are not recyclable through your city's recycling efforts. I know Longmont, you can't put these in your recycle bin. So if you cut in a spiral, you will never come right back up to the top and end it sooner than you intended. So just for time's sake, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cut that off. And then again, like with your fabric, when you've got the two ends, you just tie them together and that becomes yarn. And this too, you have to be incredibly patient with. I would say just sit down and cut one bag at a time, add it to the ball, and just keep going and going. And it takes a lot to knit a bag, which is what this is the best thing for, is your reusable shopping bags. But I guarantee this is a really sturdy way to make a shopping bag. So those were just my two tips and tricks that I have discovered while I've been, an avid crafter. So thanks for joining us, guys. And I just wanted to let you know that we do have a special going tonight for you Fiber at Fibers. For every $25 worth of merchandise you purchase from the Fiber at 5 category specifically, we will throw in a free manifesto bag for the next 24 hours. So until 5 o'clock tomorrow night, if you buy $25 worth of any product you see here tonight, we will throw in a free manifesto bag. So, because, this is the best way to go shopping, is with reusable bags. And it's the best way to keep track of your products for those of us who have, 20, 30 projects going all at the same time. So the first item I'd like to start out with is an oldie but goodie. It's a favorite product of mine, and that is all things Apothecary. Stepping off camera for a second, sorry. So I'm going to start with the roving. The reason why I wanted to feature this tonight is because she uses eco-friendly acid dyes on her product. So this is a very environmentally friendly product, and this is the Rambouillet roving. This is the Sunset Dreams colorway. Kind of in love with that. I love the oranges and the purples together. Oh, and guys, these are the last 3 roving braids we have of Apothecary, so if you're interested, I would recommend hopping on it pretty quick. So this is the fine merino wool roving, and this is called the Vixen Fox. And trust me, your computer is not doing this justice. It's got lots of purples and blues and tans in it, and it's really gorgeous. And oh my gosh, is it soft. And then this last colorway is also the fine merino wool. This is Spinning the Flowers. And it makes me think of flowers because it's got the reds and the blues and greens and of course purple. You're going to see a lot of purple tonight. They let me pick out the products, so I get to show what colors I like. So these braids are $27, I think for both, for both styles. And I want to say they're about 20 ounces. So that is the fine merino, that's Spinning the Flowers, the Vixen Fox, and Sunset Dreams is the Rambouillet. Then of course I pulled a bunch of her merino silk yarn. This of course is fingering weight yarn. And this is one of my absolute favorite items here, just because the amazing colorways, the fact that there's enough silk in here that it gives it a little bit of sheen, and of course the eco-friendly dyes that she uses. So these, of course, fingering weight, it's a 70-30 merino silk blend, 100 grams or 436 yards for those of us who go by yards. And this is a hand wash only product, and I pulled all of the colors so I can show you guys. Just so excited about this yarn. This is Tristessa, and it's a nice kind of bluey gray. And these are $38 per hank. This is Tide Pool, which is kind of a shop favorite color. This color sells really fast. Of course I got purple, and I love this one. It's called Wise Woman. So not only is it purple, but it's called Wise Woman. This guy is Finality, which is a new color that we brought in. It's got a lot of tans, burgundies, purples, and blues, but it's very deep and dark and just gorgeous color. And then this guy is Sultry September, which we have carried before, and it looks really cool with Foxy, which is this nice kind of brown copper color. And then there's Raspberry Canes, which looks fantastic with Evergreen if you're trying to match up your colors for projects. And lastly, we've got Enchantment, which looks wonderful with Cherry Cordial. I love these names. So again, that's the Apothecary Merino Silk Fingering Weight Yarn. It's a 70-30 Merino Silk blend. It is 436 yards and $38 per hank. So I'm going to scooch that over there. So I did a lot of research before tonight to kind of figure out which fibers are sustainable. And I'm finding that a lot of any natural fibers are sustainable. Anything man-made is usually petroleum-based and doesn't come from nature. It's not a renewable resource. So basically any natural fiber is a renewable resource. And one of my favorite is, of course, being a clarinet player, I know a lot about bamboo. So bamboo is highly sustainable. It can grow to full size in 3 to 4 months compared to standard trees, which can take 30 plus years to grow. It's a super sustainable resource due to that. And growing bamboo doesn't require nasty pesticides or chemicals. And it grows natural in environments and is not susceptible to lengthy and polluting production processes like plastic. Unlike other products, it does not have to go through significant changes in order to become usable. And especially in its natural form, they make everything from bowls to cutlery from bamboo. Honestly, I have a set of bamboo bowls at home, and they're fantastic. I think they could survive just about anything. They're so sturdy and wonderful to work with. So for bamboo products, I pulled a couple of my favorites. So I've got 2 different shades of purple of Oxynometer. So this is Theodore's Pearls. It is 100% bamboo. And these skeins have about 400 yards in them. And so I pulled Purple Rain and Violet. This stuff is, if you've never worked with bamboo before, it is amazing to work with. You think it coming from a bamboo plant, it would be stiff and difficult to work with, which is not even close to the truth. This is super soft and it has a lovely, lovely sheen to it. And it feels good in your fingers when you're working with it. So that's Oxynometer. And just as an FYI, we did restock the 6 skein sets. And of course, with this being a celebration of Earth Day, I pulled the green set. And I'm just showing these 2 items tonight, but I have made every Oxynometer product available on the website at the Fiber at 5 category, which includes the 3 skein sets, the 2 skein kit sets, the 6 skein, and the single skeins. So the 6 skein sets are 200 yards per color, and they are hand dyed by our friend Jennifer. Yes, okay, yes, Mom. The bamboo is wonderful to work with, and her colors are fantastic. Thank you for mentioning that. And Jennifer is doing a bamboo along, and she's been in a couple times, and it's just been wonderful to see her. And Jennifer's an amazing person. So, Oxynometer, the 6 skein sets are $105. And they're really fun because they're named after current and previous employees of the Longmont Yarn Shop. So this is Sandy's Grains, named after Sandy. And for those of you who love purple, there is a set called Christiana's Bloom that has purple in it. So another product that I love is the Bamboo Pop Sock. This is a combination of bamboo and cotton. Another good point about bamboo is it's a wonderful fiber for people who are allergic to animal fibers. I know there are plenty of people out there. I know my grandma can't wear wool or alpaca or anything. So this is an amazing alternative because it is soft and it can be warm. So the Bamboo Pop Sock has enough cotton in it to help it hold its shape a little better. Bamboo is very drapey. So the cotton helps it keep its integrity so it fits better on your foot. So I only pulled 3 colors. I believe we have 5 or 6 available currently at the shop. So of course it is a fingering weight. And let's see here. There are 492 yards per ball. And these are $12 per ball. So, and what's really cool is on the inside of the tag too, they show you how, the yarn works up once you knit with it. So, oh, they don't have the color names on here, so this is color 402. It's a lovely combination of turquoise and blue and white. This is color 505, which is super fun. It's got some really bright colors in there. There's a little brown and turquoise blue, white, pink, and kind of a lime green. I wouldn't call it a neon green, but it's definitely lime. And then of course color 406. This is called Florals. This actually has them. Oh, this one's called Tide Pool. They do have the names on there. They're just so super small. Acid Wash. Okay. So this one's called Florals, and of course it has purple in it. So there's different shades of lavender, a little bit of white, and some kind of tannish gray speckling in there. So that is the Bamboo Pop Sock, 492 yards fingering weight, 55% bamboo, 37% cotton, and it looks like there's a tiny bit of nylon in there, just because when you're wearing socks you want a little nylon in there. So the next one is just the regular Bamboo Pop. This guy is 50% cotton, 50% bamboo, so it's got enough bamboo in there to make it super soft. Give it a little bit of sheen. This is a DK weight yarn, and there are 292 yards per ball. They're $9.99 per ball. And I only pulled 3 colors, and of course everything that I'm not showing color-wise tonight is available on the website for you all to look at. But I pulled this guy because it's one of the print colors. So there's turquoise and pink in there. And this is called Soothe. I love that color name, Soothe. That's really pretty. Hey Mom, did you see what Nancy said? So this guy I pulled because I know Bryce loves her greens. So this is called Clover, and I think this is such an awesome shade of green because it's not a super lime green. It's a kind of a soothing green. And of course I pulled the purple. This is called Royal. So that one's a super nice purple. So the Bamboo Pop yarn is one of the approved yarns for knitted knockers. So that's a good use of this yarn. Just an FYI, we do collect those year round. It's just in October that we really celebrate them. But if you want a small project to work on, this is a great idea. And for those of you who have looked at the Fiber at 5 category already and said, why on earth did she pull an Interweave Crochet magazine? Well, I will tell you why. In the summer issue, spring 2021, they have a blanket made out of the Bamboo Pop yarn. And let's see if I can get that close enough. So I added this to the category so you can see another option to use the Bamboo Pop yarn. And let me turn to the instruction page. I was telling Bryce earlier, I managed to find the only magazine that didn't have a subscription card in it, so I couldn't mark my spot. So this is called the Deep Sky Throw. It has kind of an intermediate difficulty level. Uses a size G hook, and it takes 9 balls of the Bamboo Pop yarn. And here's a close-up of the pattern so you can get an idea of that. It's got this really awesome wave pattern to it. So that is the Interweave Crochet magazine from spring 2021. It is $8.99, and this is a really good issue. So you crocheters out there, this is an awesome investment. And then again, the Bamboo Pop yarn, it's $9.99 per ball, 50% cotton, 50% bamboo, 292 yards, and that is a DK weight yarn. So kind of a funny story, when I was looking for items to show you tonight that were earth friendly, I happened across a book that honestly I had no idea we had, but I was so excited to find it. And this is called Favorite Rag Rugs, 45 Inspiring Weave Designs. And it is by Tina Ignell. And the reason why I wanted to feature this tonight is they talk about upcycling and using your fabric scraps in woven projects. So let me show you guys a couple of these projects. I fell in love with this guy. I love the use of the dark fabric contrasting with the light and then the little bit of rainbow color in there. So for you weavers out there, I did not forget you. So, and then this guy, oh my gosh, how gorgeous is that? So this again is Favorite Rag Rugs, 45 Inspiring Weave Designs by Tina Ignell, and it is $24.95. So I'm going to step aside for a water break real quick, and Bryce is going to talk to you about our next couple items.
Hello everybody, so I am going to talk about some really cool things that I'm excited about and I really love. So Earth Day is one of my, not necessarily a holiday, but it's one of my favorite holidays. I love Earth Day. I love doing things and talking about ways that we can make the earth a better place and be a little bit more eco-friendly in our just everyday lives. So one of those things, kind of touching on what Christiana brought up before, is just reusing our scraps and mending things when we can instead of replacing them and throwing something away when it can be fixed. So yeah, a couple other products, and you might have seen them when you first come into the store, but they're right up in the front in our little embroidery section. So it's the book Mending Matters, and this one is by Katrina Rodaba. I think I pronounced her last name correctly. And I actually really think this is a great one. It has some really fantastic projects in it. This one especially focuses on mending for jeans and things of that nature, but there's also some projects like adding pockets to stuff, adding elbow patches, which I think is super adorable. I love elbow patches. So I think this is a really fantastic book. It doesn't only have tips, but there's also specific projects in there, and it goes through it and shows you exactly what to do to mend your different projects. So this one especially focuses on jean materials, linen, and things that are a little bit stiffer, which sometimes, especially before I was really into mending my own clothes and doing that kind of stuff, when it comes to jeans, especially if you get a hole on like the side or inner thigh hole, for me, you're just done with that. But you absolutely can repair pants that have holes in them, rips, all sorts of things, and you can repair them in really fun ways. And the thing that I especially like about this Mending Matters book, and then just mending in general, is that this one particularly focuses on the Shishiko style of mending, which you can see in those stitch patterns here on the cover, as well as visible mending, which is always really fun because it's kind of cool to see, oh, like I fixed this spot here and this reminds me of this because I used this fabric and that fabric was a gift that whoever bought me, like that kind of stuff. So there's lots of story that can go into mending. This book is $24.99, which honestly for a hardcover, that's a really great price. It's a good reference book, not just for the patterns in it, but just the techniques in general, because it really does go through speaking on all the different techniques. There's a section here just on basic darning, which is always good to have in your back pocket for fixing stuff up. Darning is not just for socks. You can use darning for a ton of different projects. Let me find another quick one. There is a really cute one for adding pockets too. Oh, here's a cute little oversized linen cowl too. So there's some sewing projects in there as well if you are sewers. So I think that truly anybody, even if you don't have a sewing machine, most of these projects you can do by hand, and you get to just do a little slow fashion. And slow fashion is something that's important to me because, it's great to be able to keep onto a piece of clothing and hold on to it for a real long time and be able to pass it down to friends and family and your children or whoever you want and just have that thing in your life for a good long time. So one of them is the Mending Matters book. Again, it's $24.99 and it's by Katrina Rodaba. Really great piece to have on your shelf if you are interested in mending and want some inspiration. The other thing that we have also in this little section of mending, you might have seen it pass by in our embroidery section. It's these Shishiko mini kits. They are also $24.99 and it comes with each of these little samplers, and they're pre-printed on this really thick, almost canvasy type fabric. So you could use any of these little sample patches as a patch for a project that needed mending. So say you had a little hole on the side of your jeans, you could absolutely use one of these pieces as your patch, and it comes with the needles you need as well as that really premium Shishiko yarn, because it's actually a specific kind of yarn or thread rather used in Shishiko. It's typically 100% cotton, and it's not quite the same as embroidery floss. It's a little bit more rustic is not the word, but that's the only word I can think of right now. Yeah, exactly. Like more, it has more substance to it. It's not quite as shiny and thin as embroidery floss can be. It's you will when you work with it, it feels like something you can actually fix something with because it's extremely strong. It's at 100% cotton. So there's 6 4-inch squares that are pre-printed with these different Shishiko designs, and once you get one of these designs down, any of them will fit really well. And you can see too, I think she kind of does that little checkered one here at that bottom corner. You can see it featured on some of the jean patterns too. So it's really simple. Once you get those stitches down, you can absolutely embroider it onto anything, and you could totally use this thread and these needles for a project that comes from this book. So these are both $24.99. Really great options to have and to put in your collection. I know if you're like me, you're like, oh man, and yet another hobby, yet another fiber art hobby. But hey, but this one's really great for the environment. So I really like this book. I think it's a good one to have in your collection. Actually, am hoping to pick one up next time we get a restock because I've been trying to hold off in case actual customers want to buy this book. So I've been trying to have some self-control with this one. So you guys get it so I don't have to. I think that's it from me for those couple things that I wanted to show you all. So Christiana's going to come back, but definitely mending is the way to go. It is a great way to keep your knitwear stuff. Learning to mend your clothing and alter your clothing is just one small thing that we can do to help our environment. Truly, the less clothes that get thrown away, the better. I am someone who, I don't know if I've bought new clothing truly from like a real fast fashion retailer probably since 2018, which was the last time I also used Amazon because I'm a nutcase. So we can do it. You can do it. Mending is great. And I'm going to let Christiana come back. Goodbye.
Awesome. Thanks, Bryce. And I don't know, I'm sure by now everybody knows, but I think it's worth repeating that those mittens that Bernie Sanders wore to President Biden's inauguration, those were actually upcycled sweaters. They were not knit, they were not crocheted. They were sweaters that teacher in Vermont turned into mittens for Bernie Sanders. So another good use of products. So if you have an old sweater that you bought from a shop and it's falling apart, don't throw it away.
Yeah,
turn it into mittens, turn it into socks. You're only limited by your imagination. So
customers and I were talking about doing like a shawl swap for all the shawls and things that you make that you don't ever wear.
A shawl swap, yeah. Clothing swaps. Secondhand stores are fantastic. Consignment shops are great too. So don't throw anything away. There's probably someone out there who wants it or could use it.
Absolutely.
So my next item, this is another shop favorite, or at least a Christiana favorite. This is the Remix Light by our friends at Barocco. This yarn is actually 100% recycled fibers, which is why we wanted to feature it tonight. So it's 30% nylon, 27% cotton, 24 acrylic, 10% silk, and 9% linen. So I know you're saying, well, there's those man-made fibers in there. Yeah, but they're recycled man-made fibers. So it's not taking up space in a landfill. So this yarn is super, super soft. It is wonderful to work with. I honestly cannot recommend it enough. So this is a DK weight yarn. It is $15, and there are 432 yards per skein. I only pulled 3 skeins tonight because we've got a lot of colors of this, and they're all on the website. So this is color 6991. I want to say it's called Pine or Spruce. So it's a nice rich bluish green, and you can see there are tiny little tan flecks in there. And then this is 6977, which I think is called teal or turquoise. And believe it or not, this is actually my favorite color in the remix because it's just so bright and so cheerful, and it's got all these little flecks of different colors in there. There's some pinks, there's some reds, there's some whites. And then color 6917, which of course is a purple color. This, I think they actually call it periwinkle. And it is a nice bluish lavender with little flecks of white in there. And I do have a couple samples to show you guys of this yarn. So I know I've showed this guy before, but oh, I love this project. This is the cruising wrap. This is an interweave pattern, so it's available on Interweave's website. And I think this is a great showcase of this teal color. It's got this fun diamond pattern in it, and this yarn blocks beautifully. When I made this wrap, it was kind of going a little like this, a little wavy at the sides. But once I got this wet and laid out, I was able to stretch it and smooth it, and I got the nice clean edges on there. So this yarn is very manipulative, or you can manipulate it when you're blocking it. So that's the cruising wrap, that is crocheted. And then here I have got the Lake Arrowhead tee, which is a sample made by my mom, Dara. This took 3 balls of the Remix Light, and it is this really cute, like cap sleeve tee sweater with a really super simple lace pattern in it. This is probably a good beginning lace project if you kind of want to just get your toes wet. And this guy is on Ravelry, so that's the Lake Arrowhead tee, and that took 3 balls. And I don't have a, oh, here we go. This was a size large, so it has a bust width of 45.5 inches. And I forgot to tell you how much yarn this project took. So, this one took 2 balls, but of course with it being a wrap, you can make it as long or as short as you want it to be. I was also thinking too, this pattern would make a neat afghan or blanket, and you could just sew the panels together, or a good table runner if you're into that sort of thing. So that one took 2 hanks of the Remix. So the next item I wanted to show you, organic wool. I was thinking, okay, what makes wool organic? And it's exactly the same thing about your fruits and veggies. It's just a complete absence of pesticides and herbicides, so the animals are not being exposed to any sort of chemical. That's what makes wool organic. And for that, I've got the Patagonia by Juniper Moon Farm. This is a DK weight yarn, and it is 100% organic wool, and it is certified organic. And these are $15.99 per hank for 382 yards. And this wool is amazingly soft. I mean, we all think wool, we think kind of scratchy. This couldn't be further from scratchy. It is soft, and I haven't had the pleasure to work with it yet, but if any of you guys have, can you give me a shout out and say if you liked it and what you used it for? So this is Patagonia. This color is called Lobelia. And I think all these colors are named after plants or flowers, except for this one. This one's called Ivory because it's a nice creamy ivory. This is Cardinal. Nice red. And this one is the lavender, and I always say the name wrong. Chariot? C-H-A-R-O-I-T. I just call it lavender. And I have a project to show you guys made out of the Patagonia. This was made by our friend Sandy before she moved away. This is the Lisbeth jacket. This is on Ravelry. This took 5 skeins of the main color, so the ivory, and then 1 of the contrast color. And this is a size large, and I love the color work on this. It's very simple and understated and squishy yarn. Was that you who typed that, or was that Gail who typed that?
Gail, I think.
Oh, okay. It's super simple color work, but it's got this neat garter ridge on the end of it, so it kind of differentiates it from the rest of the body of the sweater. And it carries, of course, across the arms and across the back. And this is a super soft sweater, and it's pretty lightweight too, but it's really warm. So that again is the Lisbeth jacket. That is spelled, Lisbeth, L-I-S-A-B-E-T, and that is on Ravelry, and it is made from the Patagonia. It's a fun sweater.
Yeah, that's so nice. I love that one.
That was think that was Melanie's favorite during the winter time. One of us was constantly wearing it in the winter time. So next I want to talk about cotton yarn. So cotton is sustainable, renewable, and biodegradable, making it an excellent choice as an environmentally friendly fiber throughout its entire product life cycle. And cotton is, of course, a plant-based fiber, and it is much more sustainable than synthetic fibers. It is renewable and supports about 250 million people globally. It is worn all over the world, and over 25 million tons of cotton are produced every year in around 85 countries. So I thought that was pretty awesome. Cotton, of course, love cotton. It breathes, it's durable, it's great for projects for children because of its durability. So got a couple cottons here to show you. So this is the Cotton Supreme yarn. This is a worsted weight yarn, and it's $10.95 per hank, and this is 185 yards. It is 100% cotton, if I forgot to mention that. So I pulled just 3 colors of this tonight, but again, all the colors are available on the Fiber at 5 site of the website. So I pulled this one because it's green. It's a lovely shade of green, and it's called daiquiri. How about that? It's a wonderful shade of green. Then this guy is just called white, and it's a very bright, bright white. And then this one is called aqua. It's just a terrific shade of aqua blue. I've got a couple projects here that we've made out of that. So for those of you who are watching us during National Crochet Month in March, Teresa made a washcloth, Tunisian crocheted washcloth on one of our videos. So I've got the washcloth here that was made out of this Cotton Supreme yarn. And this takes, you could probably get 2-3 washcloths out of just one of those hanks. And then she did the edging in a contrast color, so if you reverse those colors, you'd probably get even more washcloths out of there. And then here is the lovely blanket that Gail knit. This is the chevron blanket. This is on Ravelry. It is a free pattern, and it uses 5 hanks of the yarn, but as you can see, it uses 5 separate colors. And this is actually a pretty long blanket. I want to say it's about 4 feet long, maybe even longer than that. So this is definitely a blanket a baby could grow into. That uses 5 of those hanks, and the chevron blanket is on Ravelry. It is a free pattern, uses 5 hanks of Cotton Supreme, and she used a size 7 knitting needle. I will be sure to let Gail know that this blanket is pretty. Thank you. It is really pretty. I love the combination of colors too. All right. So, and then too, I made this little bag from the Cotton Supreme, and it's just a simple crocheted bag with little pom-poms on the end. And another good use of this yarn obviously would be making market bags. You could probably make a good sized market bag with just 2 hanks and then kind of reverse the colors and do it the other way. But so this guy was just simple crocheted, and it's got the drawstrings with the pom-poms on it. And that's what I made out of the Cotton Supreme yarn. So again, that is a worsted weight, $10.95 per hank, and there are 180 yards here. And then too, I also pulled a few colors of our Phoenix DK. This is another approved yarn for knitted knockers, which again we accept year round. It is 100% cotton, and there's 273 yards here, and it is a DK weight, of course, because it says Phoenix DK on there. And it's got just a tiny bit of sheen to it. I don't think it's mercerized, but it's got just a little of a nice finish to it. I only pulled 3 colors. We've got about 8 or 10 on the wall right now. So for those of you who are interested in making the knitted knockers, they do like the kind of neutral colors for the nationwide raising for knitted knockers for collection. That's the word I'm looking for. But we here in Boulder County apparently like our really bright colors. So you're not limited by any color if you do want to make knitted knockers. You can use any color you would like. But so this is just a simple gray color. Of course I pulled the olive green because we're celebrating Earth Day, so I needed to have a green in there. And then white. So that's $13.50 per hank, 100% cotton, and there are 273 yards here. And another good use for this cotton is dishcloths. Dishcloths are a wonderful alternative to paper towels. So again, we're not throwing stuff into a landfill. However, paper towels we've discovered are compostable. So, but these are better because you make these instead of a big factory. So this is the Easy Knit dishcloths. This is $12.99. And these are just super, super simple dishcloths. I find dishcloths too are an amazing way to learn a new stitch. So you're not committing to a full huge sweater or blanket. You're just doing a square, and it's a good way to get your toes wet, figure out if you like a certain style of stitch or not. And this has got some zigzags in it. It's got some basket weaves. So this one's called Broken Basket Weave. And this is also a neat way to teach people how to knit too, because you're just making a nice square. And of course, you know, they're going to be machine washable. They're not going into a landfill. So Easy Knit dishcloths. This guy is $12.99, and it is a super, super fun book. So I wanted to wrap up tonight talking about one of our favorite companies here at the shop, and that is Earth Yarns. And for those of you who are not familiar with Earth, when you buy yarn, they plant trees. And I found some really cool information on their website that I wanted to share with you guys. One of the pinpoints on their website was, "Let's show machines we are better than them." They say mass production made us forget how to use our hands and bring out our individuality. Human touch makes all the difference. Knitting and crocheting are good for the body and the mind, but also for the earth as a means of sustainable clothing production. And they say raise your hooks and needles if you're with us. But I found that really interesting because I didn't even think about that. Yeah, by knitting and crocheting, I'm not buying a product that was made by a machine that pollutes. So I thought that was really awesome. And then they also talk about woman power. Their yarns are dyed and prepared, by skilled hands of women at their studios in Mersin and Istanbul. And through their sample knitting program, we try to keep as many hands busy as we can. So they're hiring women to knit their samples too. So then they say trees for the future. Now is the time to give back. We are happy to let you know that knitting is just another way to keep the earth green. Every skein of Earth Yarns plants a tree. Join us in helping Trees for the Future in their mission to provide families with tools and knowledge to plant trees in Africa. They do have a part of their website that you can visit to learn more about the programs they're involved with, and it's earthyarns.com/trees. So with that being said, I have some Earth Yarns to show you, so I'm going to step off camera just for a moment. So we've got a couple fingering weight yarns here. So this is called Harvest Fingering. They do use natural dyes for their yarns. Let me pull out the information here. They're 435 yards in here, and this is a 100% extra fine superwash merino. It can be machine washed, but they do recommend you lay it flat to dry. So this is the super nice black we have here. And then kind of as a contrast, we have this nice gold. And these guys are $31 per hank. And again, that is a fingering weight yarn. And then two, we have the unique fingering, that's spelled U-N-E-E-K. This is a self-striping extra fine merino wool. There are 435 yards in this hank, and these are $32.50. And this guy is color 3010. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Mardi Gras with all those nice purples and greens in there. And this is color 3004. This is still a multicolor, leans a little bit more to the red and pink side, but you've still got your blues and greens and yellows in there. Then this is color 3016, and that's a nice blue, yellow, gray, tiny bit of white in there too. Then the last color here is 3021, and this has your nice reds, kind of charcoal in there, and some tan. And I have a sample of this, which I believe was knit by those lovely ladies overseas. This is the Papillon Shawl, for those of you who are not familiar with it. This is super neat. I haven't had the chance to make this yet, but it utilizes short rows. And too, you can see the nice color changes in there. And we were actually talking about this yesterday at the Knit Along and Crochet Along. And we were saying, you know, people don't know how to knit. Tell them that you're responsible for those color changes. They'll never know. But this is the self-striping effect that yarn does provide. So that is the unique fingering. This is the Papillon Shawl. It is available on Ravelry, and it is a shop favorite pattern. We just had a knit along, and I'm willing to bet we'll probably do it again in the future because this is such a super nice project. And it's, gosh, it's really big, but it's lightweight. It's not heavy. And just look at the way those colors lie. Oh, that is so impressive. This is on my Ravelry bucket list. Something I definitely want to make one of these days. My last item for you guys tonight, sorry, going off camera again. This is also another Earth product. These are the Earth Merino gradient sets. They are $62.50. This is a fingering weight yarn, and it comes with this garden trellis pattern. So this is the yellow set. These are $62.50. There's a total yardage of 880 yards. And we've got this really nice deep rose and pink set. And then chocolate browns. I love chocolate. And then lastly there is the blue gradient set. This is a very nice cobalt blue. And so the free pattern that comes in there is this guy here. Again, this is the Garden Trellis Shawl. It is just a nice knit triangle. Looks like there's some drop stitch patterning in there. Love how it's going from the dark to the light. It's a very nice triangle. Again, not very heavy. This is pretty lightweight. It feels wonderful. For you crocheters out there, this is a knit pattern, but there are, if you go on Ravelry, there are crochet patterns available for the gradient sets. Oh, hey Jennifer! And Charlotte. Yay! Sorry, the iPad's just far enough away. I've a little bit of a hard time reading the comments, but thank you so much for joining us. So that is the garden trellis, and that utilizes the merino gradient sets. That's really pretty. So that is all the product I have to show for you guys tonight, but I wanted to also give you a few tips that I discovered looking around the City of Longmont's website. The City of Longmont does offer curbside composting services, and they also offer year-round self-service composting at the Waste Diversion Center. That's if you feel you can't fill one of the big composting carts. They do pick up the compost bins every other week, and they ask that you do keep the lid closed on it, and every month or a couple weeks or so you do need to rinse the composting bin out. Of course, more information about this is available on the city's website, and they also have details about what can and can't be composted. Longmont also offers single stream recycling, and what that means is that every recyclable item can go into one bin. So I don't know if you remember the old days where we had to separate our glass, our cans, our plastic, and our paper. Well, you don't have to do that anymore. It all goes into one bin. And again, there's more details available on the city's website about what can and can't be recycled. Unfortunately, these fun little plastic bags cannot go in your recycle bin. We here at the shop are very conscious about our recycling and composting efforts. So if you notice, when you come in and wash your hands at the back sink, we do have a separate trash can and a composting bin because the paper towels you use can be composted. We also recycle our Ziggy's cups. Anything plastic that can be any stretchy plastic, we can recycle it. Anything paper we recycle. So we're really conscious in trying to eliminate our carbon footprint, or at least decrease it greatly. So if you have any tips or tricks you want to share, just reply to this video, send us a little message. And again, the City of Longmont website has a lot of information about recycling and composting. If you're not in Longmont, just go to your city or town's website and see what recycling and composting efforts they have available to you. So that is all we have for tonight. Thank you for joining us. And again, for the next 24 hours, if you buy $25 worth of merchandise from the Fiber at 5 category, we will throw in one of our manifesto bags for you guys. So Bryce, did I miss any comments or?
Don't think so.
Don't think so? Okay, awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us, and we will see you next Sunday. Enjoy the sunshine while we have it before it starts snowing again. So thanks. Bye.